Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek. Today's topic of discussion is going to be how to become more confident with women. In my own personal experience, I lacked that ability. A big part of it was because I had a very fearful mindset. There was definitely a combination of things that went into that. And so as I overcame that and I kind of realized just how actually easy it is to be confident with women, it really changed a lot of things. I'm not afraid to approach any situation, uh, and I'm not afraid to face a possibility of rejection. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first talk about just some of the mistakes that guys tend to make when it comes to approaching women, being more, and the lack of confidence that exists. And then what I want to do is discuss just some things that you can add into your thought process that should help get you past certain fears and overcome certain things and be prepared for any kind of situation. Simply because from one moment to the next, you're going to meet people in all different kinds of situations, and you're going to potentially want to introduce yourself to women in several different kinds of situations. And it's easy to go and just throw out a line, but how do you proceed from there? And my biggest thing is it's not so much about needing to be super funny or super charming, but just being able to handle yourself in a situation that maybe isn't entirely comfortable for you, but is something to overcome. But also just to know how to deal with whatever's getting thrown back at you, because you might get a girl who's very funny and clever and she's just gonna joke back with you, and you got to know how to have the confidence in yourself to know that whatever gets thrown at you, you'll be able to handle. So the first thing I want to do now is I'm going to discuss those mistakes. So the first thing that we need to understand is attraction. And essentially what this is just it's just when people find another person attractive, that's all it is. A lot of people put a lot of stock into that, and what they do is they tend to believe that the more beautiful the person, the better a relationship is going to be. This is absolutely not true. We just need to understand that when you're seeing someone for the first time and you've never had a conversation, when you've never met them before, you don't know anything about them. So don't ever assume that somebody who's really, really good looking is somehow miles above everybody else, or that's going to mean a healthy, open, honest, trusting, and respectful relationship. You can talk to many guys who have been with beautiful women and ask them why they ended their relationships with several of them. And I'm not saying that that's just because it's not about women being bad or men being good. It's just that, there's a lot of guys get just too caught up in believing that the beautiful the girl, the better the relationship is going to be. And sometimes they're just not the kind of woman you want to take home to meet your family. So just remember that every time you're out there. Just look at these women, just understand that you don't know anything about them. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about is treating women like rock stars. So this is something that has to do with that attraction thing again. And I see this a lot, especially in lounges and things like that, where the regulars at the lounge are sitting there and telling one of the waitresses how beautiful and amazing and special and great they think they are. Yet outside of their interaction in that moment, those individuals don't spend time together and they don't really know anything about that woman. They're just putting way too much stock in her looks, as if somehow just being beautiful means that you're superior to everybody around you. And this is not a mentality you want to have with any woman, because the reality is you want to be in a relationship where you're treated as an equal. You want to treat them as an equal, and you want them to treat you as an equal. It's not about who's prettier, who's, more right or wrong. It's about being on the same level and being in a committed relationship with the person because you've chosen to do such a thing. And going back to that scenario where men just put a lot of stock in women. You see guys doing it like at bars where they're buying girls drinks. They're, you know, telling them how pretty they are. They're, you know, they're spending way too long talking to a woman who really just doesn't have that mutual attraction. And all that you're doing is you're wasting your own time in those situations if that's what you're doing. If a woman finds you attractive, she'll make it known somehow, some way, whether she says it outright or she makes an attempt to talk to you outside of those situations, but also, you know, they'll just make an effort. So just remember that you want to be on the same level as a person. You don't want to put yourself below a person. Another big thing is it shows a potential for neediness. That you're not good enough when you're sitting there telling a girl how pretty she is, or when you're buying her drinks, that you're just not good enough to be in her vicinity, but yet you're willing to, you know, if I buy you this drink, will you maybe talk to me, please? And it gives off an air of neediness, and that's exactly something that girls generally can pick up on really, really well, and that's not something that you want to be doing. The next one is the fantasies. When a guy sees a pretty girl, generally what they do is they kind of get up in their own heads about what it is that they want from this person. Can I see myself dating them? Can I see myself sleeping with them? Can I see myself having a long-term relationship with this woman? And before they've even had a conversation with this person, they're already 5 to 10 years in a relationship, and yet they don't know anything about the person that they're talking to or that they want to talk to. And what's dangerous about this, not in like a harmful, like gonna hurt anybody way, but what is difficult about this is some people don't process the fact that that's just a fantasy. And so when they approach the girl and on the possibility that they don't get, you know, what they want, like they're not getting the conversation, the girl is maybe just not attracted to you, a lot of guys get very upset and pissed off because they think, well, I'm confident, I walked over here, I said some nice things to you, why can't you just have a conversation with me? And you got to remember that what you're there to do is you're there to gather some information about whether or not there's a mutual attraction. And you see this too, where guys, you know, they get really upset, they start calling girls names, like, whoa. And really, all she did was just tell you the truth. And you shouldn't be afraid of the truth. And the other thing that guys, and this brings me now to the guys that necessarily won't talk to women or approach women, is because they fear the rejection. Now, it's understandable for someone to, look across the room and there's a pretty girl and she's got her 4 or 5 friends around, and you want to go and talk to her, but you don't want to go and talk to her because what if she rejects you, and then you're embarrassed in front of all of her friends, and this ties into that fantasy attitude where guys kind of get it into their own head and they start basically demeaning themselves to say that I don't measure up to that woman. I mean, I might try to talk to her, I hope that she might want me, but she's, and so the thing that you have to understand is that when we don't even make the attempt, when you don't even attempt to talk to the girl, when you don't even, you're not even considering, you're just going to go stand off and stand there and hold your beer or play pool and just hope that some pretty girl's just going to walk by and see you and oh, there's the guy for me, which doesn't happen a lot. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen as much as we'd like it to. And so a lot of guys will just talk themselves right out of actually ever going and approaching women. And the reality is that when you approach a woman, you got a 50-50 chance, right? And unless you actually go and talk to her, you'll never actually know 100% for sure. But if you make no effort, well, then you've got no chance. So you can sit in the corner and do nothing, or you can actually go and talk to them and see what the possibilities are. So now let's talk about some things that we need to start thinking about as a whole to help us be more confident when it comes to women. So, when you want to talk to a woman, what are you actually really trying to do? You're actually trying to gather information. And those three things should be: I'm attracted to you, do you find me attractive back? Are you single? Because you shouldn't be messing around with anybody who's in a relationship, whether they're married or whether they're just dating. Even if you find out somewhere down the road, that's a big one there. And number three is we want to, are you available for us to get together and get to know each other? And when one of those questions isn't being answered, or one of those questions is answered no to, then we must simply just accept that we just got told the truth. And one of the most respectful things anybody can ever actually do is tell you the truth. And what you need to understand is that why would you want to pursue somebody who's basically said, you know what, you'd just be wasting your time. You're not going to convince me, you're not going to change my mind, so why would you want to waste your time on me when you could very easily go to the next girl and have those three things answered and not have your time wasted? This is something that I've experienced where a girl is, giving me, it seems like she's giving me all the right answers, but then when I find out that she actually has a boyfriend, for sure, I've spent 2 hours, 3 hours trying to talk to this person and get to know this person, and the next thing I know is the night's over and I've only talked to the one girl, and there was 30 other girls that I could have tried talking to. The other thing that you want to consider too is what happens when you're the one that's being approached. What if you're the one that the girl finds attractive but you don't find her attractive? And I think that's an experience that everybody has had, and this is something that people don't generally consider when they're out and about. Just remember, what happens when somebody is attracted to you and you don't be very, very clear about what it is that you want from them? Like, I'm not interested. Problems get started. And I've seen situations where a guy just won't tell the girl, like, I'm sorry, there's nothing between us, nothing's going to happen. And the girl will try to interrupt his interactions with any other female. Like, they'll say things and they cause problems. So we all know what it's like. So just remember what it's like for somebody who isn't attracted to you. What must it be like for them when you're standing there and you're trying to get their attention and they're just not having it? Which brings me to my next point is don't waste your time. Okay, if a woman isn't interested in you, if it's not going where you need it to go, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to, and just laugh at it. You know what? That's okay. And you go to the next one, because you might have better luck with the next one. You got to think about it in terms of like an abundance factor. Just because you saw one pretty girl doesn't mean that there isn't 10 others at the bar or the lounge or the party or wherever you're at. Just remember, you want to think of it like baseball. You bat 300, you're doing really, really well, right? You could talk to 10 girls, you might get 3 phone numbers. Talk to 20 girls, you might get 5 phone numbers. But the fact is you're doing it, and you're putting yourself out there, and you're getting the phone numbers. Well, that's think of it in terms of there's a lot of women out there. The other thing that you want to think about too is the fact that just because one woman rejects you doesn't mean all other women are going to. She does not speak for all women. Okay, you could approach a woman that you think is just perfect, just a perfect 10. She might reject you, but she doesn't speak for all other women. And that's something that really helped me, is to understand that, just because she doesn't like you, just because she isn't willing to get to know you, just because you're not going to waste your time trying to convince her to like you, doesn't mean that there aren't 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, a million other women who wouldn't talk to you or have conversations with you or, go out on dates with you. And that's part of overcoming rejection, right? You just got to remember that when we're getting rejected, what's actually happening? Well, they're just giving us information. They're just telling us the truth, right? And again, they don't speak for all other women, so what is there to be afraid of, right? So when you're talking to women, just remember that, like, their attraction is just a thing. Okay, yeah, I like that, but so does 20 other guys. But if you're not willing to find out the information either way, then you failed, right? So put yourself out there and just have confidence that whether you face, or whether you're getting a rejection, or whether you're getting an invitation for you to proceed more, either way, you got options, right? Because there's 1,000 other women, there's 20,000 other women, and we don't even know if that particular girl is going to be the one, right? She may not be the one that we want to have around. You might go on 3 dates with the girl and you might find out, you know what, it's just not there, right? So think in terms of the abundance factor. Remember, attraction is just attraction. It's not a deciding factor. Stay in reality, stay in the moment, right? Don't worry about what'll happen 5 years from now, or 2 months from now, or 6 years from now, right? Just be in the moment. Just understand that until you get to till you get to the first date, the second date, the third date, or until you get into the relationship, you really don't have the information necessary to make any big term, long-term decisions. Number 4, again, that part of it is the fantasy. Don't get lost in our fantasies, right? Attract a beautiful girl, there's no guarantees, right? There's no guarantees for anything when it comes to pretty girls. Some of the most pretty girls in the world are actually sorry to say it, but they're kind of some of the most screwed up. Number 3, don't fear the rejection, right? They're not rejecting you as a person. They're just saying, you know what, the attraction isn't there, I'm sorry. And you don't want your time wasted anyway, right? You don't want to spend an entire night with a girl who, is just going to be friendly with you, but it's never going to go anywhere, right? You would hate to find out that she has a boyfriend. You would hate to find out. You feel like your time is wasted. Understand that people's time is valuable, and so is yours. So don't waste your time. And I think lastly is just have fun with this. And one of the things, again, like I said, is just, even if you go out and people watch for a little bit, just watch how people interact. Watch how guys will stay in a situation way longer than they should, when they should have just walked away. Or you'll hear, you'll be at the bar and you'll have female friends, and they'll tell you, oh, look at what this guy said, or what this guy told me, or he told me I was beautiful, he told me I would, and asked if I could buy me a bunch of drinks. And you'll see how people don't, when people aren't receiving the information or passing the information on correctly, you just see how annoyed people get, and why a lot of guys can go sit off in the corner and just sit there and kind of pout and twiddle their thumbs, right? Because they're afraid of what's going to happen, right? Fear is nothing. It's nothing to approach a woman and to face the possibility of rejection. If I go to a bar and I introduce myself and she's not giving me the time of day, you know what? I just make jokes with it. I just have fun with it. Because again, I always remember, she doesn't speak for all other women, period. The last thing is, as you start to understand and embrace these things into your thought processes, they're always there, as they all start circling in your head every time you go out. What starts to happen is you'll build up that confidence that you'll be able to go into a situation, make jokes, have fun with it. Even when you face the rejection, you'll be able to walk away and just say, hey, thanks, it was nice to meet all you guys, have fun and have a good day, and move on to the next one, right? It's just that simple. And the other thing too that you'll start to notice too is, as you become more confident, you're going to hold yourself up a little better, and what will actually happen is you'll actually start to notice that more women will actually approach you. This is something that I've noticed, a big thing too, is women will just approach me. They'll walk by, I might just look at them and give them a smile, and it's been as easy as that sometimes. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys would leave comments, it would be great. If you have any questions, that would be great. Put them all down in the comments there. Make sure you guys are subscribing, and I hope to do more videos like this. So if you found this helpful, let me know. So on that note, I want you all guys to have a great day and take care and happy hunting. Bye now.